The entire mall went silent as she dangled the dress in front of me like bait. $1,000 if you fit, she smirked, while everyone pulled out their phones. My husband stood just outside, completely unaware. But when he walked back in and saw what was happening, her $1,000,000 smile shattered. And what she didn't know was, this wasn't just about a dress. This was about 3 years of secrets, lies, and a conspiracy that went all the way to my own family. Listen, what you're about to hear is absolutely insane. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because the twist in this story will blow your mind. Ring that bell, and let's dive into the day my entire life changed in the middle of a shopping mall. My name is Eden, and 3 years ago, I married the man of my dreams. His name is Nathaniel, a self-made billionaire who built his empire from nothing. When we met, I was volunteering at a homeless shelter, serving food to families who had nowhere else to go. He walked in one rainy evening, not as a donor or a businessman, but as a volunteer. He rolled up his sleeves and worked alongside me for hours. We talked about life, dreams, and what really mattered. I fell in love with his humility, his kindness, and the way he saw people, really saw them. But somewhere along the way, after the wedding, after moving into his world of luxury and expectations, I lost myself. I became the wife everyone whispered about at galas and charity events. "That's Nathaniel's wife," they'd say, their eyes scanning me from head to toe with judgment I could feel in my bones. I wonder why he chose her. The words were never said to my face, but I heard them in the silence, in the way people looked at me, in the way his mother refused to smile when I entered a room. I'm plus size. I've always been. And in Nathaniel's world, that was a sin I could never atone for. His mother made sure I knew it. His business partners' wives made sure I knew it. Even the house staff sometimes gave me looks that said, "You don't belong here." Nathaniel was always busy, always traveling, always on calls. I told myself it was just business, that he was building something important. But deep down, I wondered if he was ashamed of me too. I wondered if he regretted choosing me over someone like Camilla, the woman who now stood before me in the mall, holding up a red dress like a weapon. It was supposed to be a good day. Nathaniel had promised me, actually promised, that he'd spend the afternoon with me. Just us. No phones, no meetings, no excuses. We'd go shopping, have lunch, maybe catch a movie like normal couples do. I was so excited that morning. I put on my favorite outfit, did my makeup carefully, and even practiced smiling in the mirror because I wanted to look happy, to feel happy, to be the wife he deserved. The mall was crowded, filled with weekend shoppers and families. We walked into an exclusive boutique, the kind with crystal chandeliers and sales associates who looked like runway models. I felt out of place immediately, but Nathaniel squeezed my hand and whispered, "You belong anywhere I am." Those words meant everything to me. I was browsing through some scarves when his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, and I saw his expression change. "I'm so sorry, Eden. It's urgent, just 5 minutes, I promise." He kissed my forehead and stepped outside, leaving me alone in a sea of strangers. That's when she walked in, Camilla. She swept into the boutique like she owned it, surrounded by 3 other women who looked like they'd stepped out of a fashion magazine. Camilla was everything society said a woman should be: tall, slim, perfectly styled, wearing designer labels like a second skin. Her laugh was loud and performative, designed to draw attention, and it worked. Everyone turned to look at her. At first I tried to make myself invisible, pretending to be fascinated by a display of handbags, but then I heard my name. "Eden? Oh my God, is that you?" My stomach dropped. I turned slowly, forcing a smile. "Hello, Camilla." Her eyes traveled over me with an expression I knew too well, a mixture of pity and satisfaction. "Wow, you look comfortable." The way she said that word made it clear she meant the opposite. Her friends giggled behind perfectly manicured hands. "I'm just doing some shopping," I said quietly, trying to move away. But Camilla wasn't done. She never was. "Shopping? Here? Eden, darling, I don't think they carry your size in designer boutiques." Her voice carried across the store. Other customers were starting to stare, some pretending not to listen while clearly hanging on every word. My face burned with shame. "It's fine, I was just leaving." "Oh, don't be silly." Camilla's voice grew louder, more theatrical. "Stay. Actually, I want to help you." She turned to the sales associate. "Excuse me, do you have anything in, what would you say, Eden? A size 18, 20? The saleswoman looked uncomfortable. "We carry a range of sizes, ma'am." Camilla wasn't listening. She had spotted something. A stunning red dress hanging in the window display. It was breathtaking, the kind of dress that demanded attention. Silk, perfectly tailored, with delicate beading along the neckline. It was also clearly a size 2. "Oh, this is perfect." Camilla grabbed the dress and held it up against me. Her friends erupted in laughter. "Eden, honey, if you can fit into this dress, I'll buy it for you myself. I'll pay cash right now." The entire boutique had gone silent. People were pulling out their phones. I could see the recording lights, could feel dozens of eyes on me. My throat tightened. My hands started shaking. "Come on, everyone wants to see," Camilla announced to the growing crowd. "The billionaire's wife trying on a sample size. This is going to be hilarious." One of her friends chimed in. "I bet Nathaniel keeps her hidden at home. Have you ever seen her at any of the important events?" That hurt, because it was true. Nathaniel had stopped asking me to accompany him to most functions. He said it was because they were boring, that I'd have more fun at home. But I knew the real reason. His mother had made it clear. My presence embarrassed the family. "So what do you say, Eden?" Camilla waved the dress in my face. "Are you brave enough to try? Or are you going to run away like you always do?" Tears were building behind my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not here. Not in front of these people. I opened my mouth to speak, to say something, anything. "What the hell is going on here?" That voice, deep, controlled, but with an edge of fury I'd never heard before. Nathaniel. The crowd parted as my husband walked through, his presence commanding immediate attention. Nathaniel is tall, with the kind of authority that comes from building an empire with your bare hands, but right now, his face was a mask of cold rage. Camilla's confident smirk faltered for just a second before she recovered. "Nathaniel, I was just having some fun with your wife. We were joking around, weren't we, Eden?" Nathaniel didn't even look at her. His eyes were fixed on me, and I saw something in them I hadn't seen in months, really seeing me. Understanding what was happening. "Eden, are you okay?" I couldn't speak, I just stood there, the red dress still hanging between Camilla and me like evidence of my humiliation. Nathaniel turned to Camilla, and the temperature in the room seemed to drop. "Fun? You call publicly humiliating my wife fun? Oh, come on, Nathaniel, don't be so dramatic. Everyone knows Eden doesn't exactly fit into high society." Camilla laughed nervously, looking to her friends for support. They suddenly found their phones very interesting. "Say that again," Nathaniel said quietly. The quiet was more terrifying than shouting. "I want to make sure everyone hears you clearly." Camilla's confidence was crumbling. "I just meant—" "You meant to embarrass her. You meant to make her feel small. You meant to do this in public so she'd feel too ashamed to fight back." Nathaniel's voice grew louder. "Since everyone here is so interested in my wife, let me tell you who Eden really is." "Nathaniel, please," I started, but he shook his head. "No, Eden, they need to hear this." He addressed the crowd, some of whom were still recording. "My wife donated $3 million last year to build schools in underprivileged areas. She did it anonymously because she doesn't do it for recognition. She volunteers at shelters every week, or she used to before. I got so caught up in business that I neglected her. She has a heart bigger than anyone in this room, including me." He turned back to Camilla. "And you? You think I don't know why you're doing this? You think I forgot?" Camilla's face went pale. "I don't know what you mean. 5 years ago, you tried everything to trap me into a relationship. When I chose Eden instead, you spread vicious lies about her to my family. You told my mother Eden was only with me for money. You're the reason my own mother treats my wife like she's not good enough." The crowd gasped. I felt like the ground was shifting beneath my feet. What? Nathaniel's jaw clenched. I found out this morning, Eden. I've been on the phone with investigators all day. My mother has been paying people to make you uncomfortable, to make you want to leave. And Camilla here has been her accomplice. Camilla backed away, shaking her head. That's insane. You can't prove— I can prove everything. Nathaniel pulled out his phone. I have bank statements, text messages, recorded conversations. You're done, Camilla. But something inside me shifted. Maybe it was the shock. Maybe it was 3 years of feeling invisible finally breaking open. But I found my voice. Stop. Everyone looked at me, including Nathaniel. I took the red dress from Camilla's trembling hands. I'll try it on. Eden, you don't have to— Nathaniel started. I'm not doing this for her, I said, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. I'm doing this for me. I walked into the dressing room carrying that red dress, and my heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone could hear it. The boutique had gone completely silent. I could feel the weight of everyone's expectations, their judgment, their curiosity. In the mirror, I looked at myself. Really looked. The dress was beautiful, but it was never going to fit. It was a size 2, and I was not. And you know what? That was okay. For 3 years, I'd been trying to shrink myself, not just physically, but in every way. I made myself smaller in conversations, quieter at events, less visible in photos. I tried to become invisible because I thought that's what everyone wanted. I thought that's what would make Nathaniel's life easier. But standing there, holding that dress, I realized something. The dress didn't define me. Camilla's opinion didn't define me. Even the judgment of Nathaniel's mother didn't define me. I had let them convince me that my worth was tied to my size, to my ability to fit into their world, to my capacity to meet their standards. I was done with that. I walked out of the dressing room without the dress. The crowd stirred. Camilla's face lit up with a victorious smirk. I knew it. I told you she couldn't— You're right, I interrupted, and my voice rang clear through the boutique. The dress doesn't fit. I held it up for everyone to see. But here's what does fit. My compassion fits, my integrity fits, my husband's love fits, or at least I hope it does. I looked at Camilla directly. You know what doesn't fit? Living a life built on tearing other people down, spending your days obsessing over someone else's marriage because your own life is empty. I turned to address everyone watching, everyone recording, to everyone here, to everyone who will watch this video online. I'm not perfect, I don't have a perfect body, I don't wear a perfect size, but I'm done apologizing for existing. I'm done making myself smaller to make other people comfortable. The silence was absolute. Then something unexpected happened. A young woman in the crowd started clapping, then another, then more joined in. Not everyone. Some people just looked uncomfortable and left, but enough that I felt it. Support, solidarity, understanding. Nathaniel moved to stand beside me and I saw tears in his eyes. I'm so sorry, Eden. I'm sorry I let it get this far. I'm sorry I didn't protect you from all of this. Before I could respond, security guards entered the boutique, followed by 2 police officers. They walked straight toward Camilla. Camilla Henderson? One officer asked, her face drained of all color. Yes? You're under arrest for credit card fraud and identity theft. The boutique erupted in shocked whispers. Camilla's friends immediately stepped away from her, pretending they barely knew her. This is ridiculous! Camilla shrieked. Nathaniel, tell them! This is a mistake! But Nathaniel's expression was cold. The only mistake was me not seeing who you really were sooner. Every designer item you're wearing, bought with stolen credit cards, your luxury lifestyle, built on fraud. I had my investigators digging into everything this morning. As the police led Camilla away in handcuffs, her perfect facade completely shattered, her friends scattered like roaches in light, I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no revenge, just emptiness. We left the mall in silence. Nathaniel drove us home, and neither of us spoke. The weight of everything, the humiliation, the revelations, the confrontation, sat between us like a physical presence. Once we were inside our massive house, I finally broke down. Not from the humiliation of what Camilla did, but from the revelation that my own mother-in-law had orchestrated my isolation, that for 3 years I'd been fighting a battle I didn't even know existed. "Your mother," I whispered. "She's been paying people to make me miserable?" Nathaniel's hands were shaking as he poured himself a drink. "I found out this morning one of Camilla's friends came to me with evidence. She felt guilty. She told me everything, how my mother hired Camilla to humiliate you publicly, hoping you'd leave me, how she's been poisoning family members against you, spreading rumors, ensuring you'd never feel welcome." "Why didn't you tell me?" The question came out broken. "Because I'm a coward," his voice cracked. "Eden, I've been a coward. My business started failing 6 months ago. I was drowning in debt, losing deals, watching everything I built start to crumble, and instead of telling you, instead of letting you support me, I pulled away. I convinced myself you were better off not knowing, not being burdened with my problems." I stared at him. "This man I thought I knew. You shut me out." "I shut you out because I was ashamed. I thought I had to be strong, to be perfect, to be the billionaire you married. I didn't realize that in trying to protect you from my failures, I was pushing you away. I made you vulnerable to people like my mother and Camilla." The truth of it hit me hard. We'd both been hiding. He'd been hiding his failures, and I'd been hiding my pain. We'd been living in the same house, sleeping in the same bed, but we'd been alone. "I don't know if I can do this anymore," I admitted, and saying it out loud felt like jumping off a cliff. "I don't know if I can stay in a marriage where I feel invisible, where your family hates me, where I've lost myself completely." Nathaniel set down his glass and turned to face me, and I saw real fear in his eyes. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I need time. I need space to figure out who I am again, because the woman who stood in that boutique today, I don't even know her anymore, and I don't know if the man standing in front of me is the same man I fell in love with at that shelter." "Eden, please." "I'm not saying it's over," I interrupted. "I'm saying we need help, real help, therapy, counseling, something. Because whatever we've been doing for the past 3 years hasn't been a marriage. It's been 2 people slowly drowning while pretending everything is fine." He nodded slowly, tears streaming down his face. "Okay, anything. I'll do anything." "And your mother," I said firmly. "You need to set boundaries, real ones. I can't fight her anymore. I'm exhausted. I've already called my lawyer. I'm cutting her off financially. She's no longer welcome in our home or our lives unless she genuinely apologizes to you and gets help for her behavior. I should have done it years ago." We sat there in our enormous house, surrounded by luxury that suddenly felt meaningless, and cried together. It wasn't a happy ending. It wasn't resolved, but it was honest, and that was more than we'd had in a long time. Therapy is hard. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. Nathaniel and I went twice a week for months. We talked about things we'd been avoiding, wounds we'd been ignoring, resentments we'd been burying. Some sessions ended with us holding hands. Others ended with us in separate rooms, too raw to even look at each other. But slowly, we started finding our way back. I restarted my charity work. I went back to the shelter where we'd met, and I remembered who I was before I became the billionaire's wife. I remembered the woman who believed she could make a difference, who didn't need anyone's approval to know her worth. Nathaniel sold one of his companies and scaled back his work. He joined me at the shelter sometimes. We worked side by side like we had on that first rainy evening, and I saw glimpses of the man I fell in love with. His mother never apologized. She doubled down, called me names, tried to turn other family members against us. Nathaniel held firm. He chose me, and this time, I believed it. One evening, 6 months after the mall incident, I was organizing a charity event at a community center when someone unexpected walked in. Camilla. She looked different. No designer clothes, no perfect hair, no entourage. Just a woman in jeans and a simple shirt, carrying what looked like genuine shame on her shoulders. "I don't expect you to forgive me," she said quietly. "I don't even deserve to be here. But I wanted you to know that what happened that day, it changed me." I didn't respond, just waited. I was arrested, humiliated, lost everything. My friends disappeared, my fake life collapsed, and for the first time, I had to face who I really was, someone so miserable that I spent my days trying to destroy other people's happiness. She took a shaky breath. I've been in therapy. Real therapy. Dealing with my issues, my jealousy, my insecurity. I'm working a regular job now at a bookstore, and I'm learning what it means to be genuine. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because that day in the mall, you could have destroyed me. Nathaniel had evidence to send me to prison for years. But you asked him to be lenient. The prosecutor told me you wrote a letter on my behalf. Why would you do that? I thought about it. Because revenge doesn't heal anything. And because I know what it's like to be trapped in a version of yourself that isn't real, I'm still learning to break free from that. Camilla's eyes filled with tears. I'm starting a support group for women dealing with toxic beauty standards and self-worth issues. I was wondering if you'd be willing to speak to them sometime, share your story. I was surprised, but I found myself nodding. Maybe, let me think about it. She thanked me and left, and I sat there thinking about how strange life is, how the worst day of my life had somehow become a catalyst for change, not just for me, but for others too. That's my story. The day I was humiliated in a mall, the day my marriage almost ended, the day I finally stopped trying to fit into someone else's definition of enough. Nathaniel and I, we're still working on it. Some days are good, some days are hard. We're not a fairy tale, but we're real. And that's worth fighting for. I learned that confidence isn't about fitting into a dress or meeting someone's standards. It's about fitting into your own truth, no matter how uncomfortable that makes other people. The video of that mall confrontation went viral, by the way. Millions of views. Some people supported me. Others said I was playing the victim. But you know what? I stopped reading the comments. I stopped caring what strangers thought. I only care what I think about myself. And for the first time in 3 years, when I look in the mirror, I see Eden. Not someone's wife, not someone's disappointment, not someone who doesn't fit. Just me. And that's enough. If this story moved you, hit that like button right now, comment below, and tell me about a time you stood up for yourself or a time you had to find your own worth again. And subscribe, because next week, I'm sharing what happened when Nathaniel's mother showed up at our door 6 months later. Trust me, you won't want to miss that conversation. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Someone who's trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for them. Someone who's forgotten who they are. I'm Eden, and I want you to remember something. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are not too anything. You are exactly who you're supposed to be, and anyone who can't see that, that's their problem, not yours. See you next time.